So the following report, guys, is from June of 2021. They said a man was killed in a shooting on Tuesday in Princeton Park on the south side. He was on a sidewalk around 12:45 p.m. over by 91st and Wentworth when somebody opened fire, striking him multiple times. He was 25 years old. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office identified him as Okeke. So based on the name, I am assuming that this victim was probably Nigerian. Okay, and there was a debate that took place on social media in the DMs between rival gang members after this guy who I think he's Nigerian was killed, about whether or not he was innocent or whether or not he was a valid target from the opposition. And the people who got slid on were claiming that he was an innocent. So here's the thing, man. This goes on a lot in Chicago, and what a lot of guys do is they put this stuff out there for the police. Even in the DMs, the police can read that because all they have to do is get a warrant, or the feds, I mean, can read that. All they have to do is get a warrant for your social media account, and then they can check out everything that you've been saying. And that was what happened in this case. So the feds got to take a peek at basically this entire conversation. So I'm going to get to that in a second. But anyways, so the murder was eventually, investigated, and it resulted in several arrests of a gang called RackCity Stones, and they are down off of, I think, 93rd. So this is something that I actually covered several months ago. This is an update on it because federal prosecutors this week announced racketeering and gun charges against four guys who allegedly killed another guy 3 years ago to elevate their positions, they said, in a Chicago street gang. And I can tell you right now, okay, what the feds are saying, they did this to elevate their position. There's no positions. Like there's no positions. It's just they might mean like clout. That might be what they mean, but there's really no positions. So anyways, two of the guys were on pretrial release for state gun cases when the murder occurred. So a guy named Joshua, he's 34. A guy named Greg, he's 27. Are the 78th and 79th people, is being reported by CWB Chicago, charged with killing, shooting, or trying to kill somebody in Chicago while on felony pretrial release in 2021. Those crimes involved 115 victims, 34 of whom died. So the point that they're making with that one is that, these murders could have all been prevented if the people had just been kept behind bars. But anyways, these two guys, working with a guy named Christopher, he was 24, and a guy named Jaron, he's 22, killed that guy who I mentioned, Okeke, on June 1st, 2021. And this was according to federal prosecutors last Friday. So this was apparently over a beef between RackCity and some GDs, okay? Now, apparently, this has been going on for like a while. It's a pretty violent conflict. And the debate remains about whether or not this guy was a member. Like, nobody really knows. He was just from the hood, like what was going on with this? So anyways, in a criminal complaint that was filed against Christopher, an FBI agent said that investigators executed search warrants. One of them was named Drewski Gang Shooter on Instagram, and an account called Cell Block Gang that uncovered messages in which Christopher threatened to kill somebody in one of the GDs. Okay, now 2 days later, Chicago police found this guy Okeke mortally wounded on the back porch of a home. So he had been working on his dirt bike, they said, when at least two gunmen exited an SUV and opened fire on him, and the police found shell casings from 3 different firearms at the scene. So within 10 minutes, Christopher allegedly began messaging a member of the GDs about the murder. So this is within 10 minutes of the murder. Okay, he's sending this guy messages about the murder. Okay, he sent the rival screenshots of tweets about the murder from Spot News. Now, Spot News, for those of you guys who don't know, he's a real cool dude. He's a guy who just basically works out of his garage, tweeting out like Chicago police scanner transmissions. And it's a great way for people in the city of Chicago. It's one of the best news sources there is because it's a great way for people to see really what's going on minute by minute in the city of Chicago in the streets, okay, because it's like all the transmissions. I mean, whether they result in any type of arrest or not, So that's a long-running Twitter account. They said so it reports police radioactivity. So the rival gang member repeatedly replied that Okeke was not a member and that Christopher's crew had killed an innocent. So the rival went on to question whether RackCity was even responsible for Okeke's murder at all. So he's basically, so this is like two gang members, talking. Okay, showing him the screenshot, like basically insinuating that they just got this guy, just scored on them. And he's saying you guys didn't score, he was innocent. And, y'all might have not, probably not even did that. So it's like that, it's a typical stuff, okay? But the question remains whether or not he actually was a member. But anyways, Christopher responded by sending photos of one of the gunmen who killed Okeke while riding around in a car with guns, according to the complaint. So he's sending him everything. Okay, now this is to the ops, bro. He's DMing the ops the evidence that they just did it. Guys, the police can read your DMs. I mean, I don't know if these guys knew this. DMs, they're private to the public, and the feds definitely know how to hack, and they can hack you. All they have to do is get permission. Okay, and the hackers, like, they don't need nothing. I mean, they're breaking the law when they hack, but I mean, like, they do it. So, and it happens all the time. You see it happening in celebrities. The guy in the photos, okay, that he was sending bore a strong resemblance to Greg. Okay, now a video that Christopher sent later showed him and other men with guns in an SUV or truck. Based on their appearance, clothing, and other details, the FBI agent concluded that Christopher recorded the video within minutes of Okeke's murder. So they got all the evidence. So nearly a year later, Chicago police arrested Christopher for allegedly possessing a firearm while fleeing from police in a stolen car. While he was in custody, investigators began questioning him about the killing. After being shown one of Okeke's murder, okay, this is the video of Okeke's murder, Christopher allegedly placed phone calls from Cook County Jail in which he told people that law enforcement, quote, had everything, and that the people that he spoke with should throw out the garbage and delete social media accounts, according to the complaint. So, okay, you see what's going on. He's not snitching, but he's making phone calls from jail basically saying, like, they got us. Okay, now why do they have them? I told you guys, the woofing on social media, it could get the entire city of Chicago totally booked, locked up. So, anyways, he also told people in a recorded Jailhouse call that he needed to bail out of jail so that he could take off. Now, again, he's saying this on Jailhouse phone calls, okay? So he said, quote, I'm finna go far away, bro. Far, 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 far away. This is allegedly what he told one person, and the feds can hear all this. He said, I wish I could tell you, bro, it's gonna F your mind up. So I don't know how far he was planning to go. Based on his name, I'm assuming he's probably American black and not, Jamaican or Haitian or something like that. So I don't know if he has any connections in another country. It's possible he's like Jamaican or something. But I don't know. But anyways, federal officials said that he also posted a social media photo of himself holding a large amount of cash and bragging about, quote, getting a quick 10 by filing for COVID relief funds from the Small Business Administration. So he pled guilty to aggravated fleeing last August in exchange for a 2-year sentence. Cook County prosecutors dropped the gun and stolen motor vehicle charges. So it's crazy that he can give them all this information. Basically, like, give them the entire case against him without ever snitching. He never snitched. They didn't have to offer him a plea deal. It's just the phone calls he's making, the social media DMs he's sending. This is the entire case. So anyways, both Joshua and Greg, were on pretrial release for allegedly being felons in possession of firearms at the time of Okeke's murder, according to the Cook County court records. So Greg's case is still pending. Joshua's case is still pending because he stopped showing up for court on December 12th. So a warrant has been out for his arrest since then. So that's where this stands right now, man, with RackCity. Okay, so check that out, man. You see all the evidence that they were, man, social media, guys, I'm telling you, this is why it's so easy for, like, the bloggers and, people like that to put two and two together and stuff because these guys are telling everything they do. And the DMs I told you guys are not safe. Hackers and the police can get them. So this is the latest case update on this particular case. I'll try to give you guys more updates when more become available. But this is something that, you never used to see like back in, social media didn't exist back then, but, back in the 90s where you were basically forced by the bosses to keep everything totally secret. Never tell anybody, not even guys in your own gang, about what you just did. The big question is whether or not this guy was innocent or whether he was a gang member. We may never know because according to, and this is in the DMs, okay, so according to, the rivals, the GDs, he was innocent and he wasn't on nothing. And so it doesn't seem like they ever really disputed that. Like RackCity ever really disputed that he was innocent. So it's totally messed up, man. Like it's totally messed up. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section, man. This is your boy Chicago News. I'm out.